Okay. We're up to these again. We're working all the time on the same issues: tircha, hefsid, work, malacha, the mix of how it comes out in different places. Now is the season to buy for the yearly stock. You're not going to find it at the price, at the seasoned price. Rabbi Avrohom This is a fascinating halacha. Here we've gone overboard, so to speak. But buying isn't such a serious issue, It's not a malacha. But once you have the stuff, so where are you putting it? So in order, you have to create the barrels. You have to make the barrels workable in order for to store them. And doing that includes a malacha in it. So the malacha is once you're allowed to do it because you're allowed to do it. You're allowed to do it even though it's going to cause you to have to do a malacha. It's a very big chiddush because of your hefsid, we're allowing you to do a malacha. I think this is the first time that we were introduced to this concept. Okay. For the year, because if you're doing more than that, so the Mishnah Berurah says something which is a bit difficult for me to understand. He says then it looks like you're doing it for business. So why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? So some people do things while you're at it. What is that? What's it called when you do something? Well, I'm already here, so I might as well buy some more. Why are you buying the more?
Impulse buying?
No, it's not impulse buying. Let's say, you know what? They have tissues on sale. Okay, so you buy, let's say, you don't use more tissues if you have more tissues, right?
Convenience.
What?
Convenience.
Yeah, but so how much do you buy? As much as you can store, right? Why? Because you're already here. If it's a good enough buy, right? Obviously, right? So, but if you're doing more than that, that already looks like you're doing some kind of a business deal, and then you're not allowed to do that. Similarly, if you have something which is now is your opportunity to get it, even though it's merchandise that you're doing for business, but if you don't have another choice, so you can do it. This is just like the idea of the shuk, which we discussed earlier. Okay, so let's see the Mishnah Berurah. This halacha theoretically is an easy halacha. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to find any wine afterwards, but you're not going to find it at this price. So I want to offer an explanation why that should be true. I think the question is not a good question. That's always a good way to answer the question. Because once you're going to say that you're buying it allows you to do it because it's permissible, so then it's all permissible. There's no difference in that situation. A person has some meruba, you're allowed to do malacha. Now here it happens to be there's a split for what you need to buy for Hasem Meruba doesn't need a malacha. But Lamaisa, to make it feasible, you do need a malacha. It's included. Even though it's a tircha, even though all the other things. I would like to share with you a halacha.
Whole year supply.
People bought all year. In order, there's certain things you buy when they're in season. People who want to be frugal, you should know that the time to buy wine is when? Purim. When do you buy oil? Hanukkah. Right now, recently they've changed. It used to be the Hanukkah time you could buy kosher Pesach oil, recent years they've started to not do it. No, these many all year run. You understand? They do it only once or twice a year. But people who want to save money, there are ways to do it. Okay, there are ways to do it. But that's when you people buy it, and that's like this is the Mishnah in Shvius. I believe that this answers the question. Mishnah in Shvius. Rabbi Chaim Kanansky sort of writes about this in Derech Hamuna. It speaks about how many kadeh yayin and kadeh shemen you're allowed to take from the Oitzer Bezdin. It's like 17 kadim of shemen. I mean, it's not cola, right? You're not gonna, how does it take to use up a kad of shemen? A long time. But the answer is when you buy shemen, you buy it in bulk. You buy a thing of toilet paper. You buy for the week. No, I'm saying no, but you sell a 32 pack. What does it come? What does it come with? Right?
Yeah.
What? 104. Okay, no, not Costco. Well, but the bottom line is you don't buy it daily use. There's certain things that you buy them for a couple of weeks. You know, there's the season, so that's called for your immediate use. Your immediate use is for when you go to buy it. For how long that or how much you need for that period of what you're buying. All right. You're not going to be able to have merchandise. Why? Because if you're not going to have it later on, this becomes like the Yerid, that this is your chance. You're not going to be able to make such a good deal. In other words, the price goes up. There'll be mutter. Again, this is the range off on if it's going to be mutzi or not mutzi. And I think I was asked once the following question. I remember thinking about it. Person finds out someone got engaged in his family in America. And it's around the end of the year. Or it's around Thanksgiving. And you know that the tickets, when it gets closer to that time, are going to go up in price. And now you're at the point, there's 3 weeks before, 6 weeks before. We know I don't know, but I know the people who travel know. There's you buy the more in advance you buy it, the cheaper the ticket. That's obvious. So if I'm going to wait till after the Moed, so it's going to be more expensive. Right. I'm traveling in 2 months from now. Am I allowed to buy it now? You are going to say it's like a greedy person. You already made the money and now you're already losing it. Right? This is called Menias Revach. Is it Menias Revach? The price is going to go up. So now I could buy it cheaper, and later on it'll become more expensive. So now we just learned something over here. I'm going to go back to what we learned last week, and I'm going to understand why Shilas are Geschmack. Let's go back to what we learned last week. Vov, Sif Vov. Mitzia also litroch lechapes eleho. You're not allowed to go and look for fish. As the ocean overflowed, and there were fish that were cast onto shore. So now you can go fishing and have a for sure catch, right? So you can make a killing, and tomorrow it's not here. Are you allowed to do it? So halachas, you're not allowed to do it. And the Mishnah Berurah says, why are you not allowed to do it? Because this is not part of your livelihood. This is not how you make money. This is called a windfall. On windfalls, we don't say that you're allowed to do it, even though you're going to lose out later on. Here, the Mishnah Berurah says in our case, I'm reading again after the Shari Tzia and Chav Tes. I'm sorry, the line before. After the month, you will still find to buy wholesale. It's not going to be at the bottom bargain basement prices. You're not going to make such a large margin of profit that it's usher. Why? Because you're in your business. So you're not going to that's not permissible. So you go back to the tickets. What is it?
Wasn't like the wine case.
What?
Wasn't like our wine case.
It's like the fish, no?
Wasn't like the wine case.
Well, the wine case, and which one? The one that's mutter, the one that's usher? Why don't it be like the wine case and be like the one that's usher? That's exactly my question. Which one is it like? It's still going to be cheaper than 2 days before the flight. What is the real price of a ticket? Huh?
That's where when you're buying it,
Did you make life just now easier or harder? I'm not sure what you just said, right? So I know that as it gets closer, it gets more expensive. Is that called that I'm having a hefsid, or it's just you're not going to be able to save so much money? It's very difficult for a Jew, right? But that's it. I don't think it's mutter. Sometimes there's going to be, I'll just give you a Jewish approach to life. In this country, when the gasoline prices go up, we know about it in advance. Goes up 7 agorot. Okay? How long are you willing to wait online to save 4 shekel? Tough. Let's continue.
Wait till tomorrow to fill up when I knew that yesterday it was cheaper.
Fresh gas. You got fresh gas. It works better, yeah. All right, anyways.
So the airline ticket, you think we should go buy them?
I'm sorry? I didn't know what you said.
Do we have a decision on the airline ticket? Which one is it?
I think that you should not be allowed to buy it. I don't think. Sometimes there's going to be a jump in price for other reasons. That's a different. I'm not talking.
You know what's going on in the world. There
are different. There are different reasons. So then again, and I get asked this question all the time, and sometimes I win and sometimes I lose. The person tells me, I have a lot of money. I just got it from America. I don't want to change it because the dollar's going up, the dollar's going down, or my stock is going up or going down. So I say, are you sure? They say, sure. 50% of the time they were sure wrong, and 10% of the time they're sure right. Right? But there are indicators, and whatever. Okay, so next. The next halacha is a turn. Okay, until now we were speaking about people buying things which are non-moed related, and therefore be'etzem they should be aser. Now we're talking about a person buying fresh produce that's perishable, so people only buy it for short term. So what should be the halacha? It's mutter. And there should be no limit on that. Why? Because it's nicker that it's a tzarech yantif. Doing business isn't really a malacha, so they should be mutter, and that's exactly what the halacha is. So if I got a halacha that we understand, okay. Let's see. Moichrei tavlinim o yerek v'chol davar she'eino miskayim, things which are perishable. Poischim u'moichrim kedarkom b'farhesya. You're allowed to leave the store open. We discussed this. We'll discuss it again shortly. There's a problem with the store being open because that's like a zilzal yontif, because you're not supposed to have your store open. So you have to open partially, the one door open, 2 doors open. But if you're the greengrocer, so everybody understands that whatever you're buying is for today. In other words, I don't know what was like 150 years ago, but when I was a kid, and you went to the butcher store, all the meat was fresh. No such thing as buying frozen. when you went to the butcher to buy a chicken on Chol Hamoed, nobody was buying chickens for after Yontif. So that store is allowed to be open. Why? Because it's obvious that it's being used for today. Whereas the suit store, no, even if you need a suit for Yontif.
Yeah,
But people buy suits. You can buy a suit in advance. You don't buy fish in advance. Okay? At least in those days. Nowadays we do, but that's why we don't have fish stores anymore.
No, but rather today you can buy things in advance and put them in a refrigerator or freezer.
Exactly. That's the problem.
Does that affect the din?
Yes. And therefore it will be usher for the store to be open.
Right, because I know, like, for example, in Pesach, the Hasidim here in Ben Shemesh, they won't buy milk products and Chol Hamoed, they always buy them before then. That's my impression.
That has nothing to do with that.
No.
That's called a selective question.
Right.
They don't have that halacha on Sukkot. That's a chametz issue. Nothing to do with Chol Hamoed.
I didn't think of that.
I'm telling you, what happens to be that's true about Pesach, but it's not true about Sukkot. That has to do with
What about a
chametz
makolet that sells vegetables?
that are non-perishables, or
vegetable, like it has a fruit store and
I'm not sure I know the answer to that question. Today's poskim discuss a store that does both, if they're allowed to be open, and they say that you're allowed to be open. However, your question, in other words, in the supermarket, what percentage are perishable? Less than 5%. Right? That's perishable, which I mean,
go bad.
So it's hard for me to say, it's hard.
Fruits and vegetables, though, still are.
No. How long does an apple last? No, until they eat it. But I'm not talking about that. But if you wouldn't eat it,
How about a week? I don't know. Stuff's going.
about 3 months. Yeah, that's without kirur. Your potatoes, your onions, those aren't perishables.
Onions, yes. Apple, 3 months, really?
For sure.
Does it go brown in the middle?
No. The things that are perishables are cucumbers, tomatoes, the things that are very wet. They have a lot of moisture to them. Those are the ones that perish, and we could explain that I'll pick up all one day why that works. But anyways, we know it's very little of your stuff.
Apples can last 3, really? How come all my apples are brown?
You're a
On
loser.
the inside.
All right.
A bakery also would not have, what heads would a bakery have to be open on Chol Hamoed?
A bakery could be open.
Why? But people can buy.
He's
Yeah, but people can buy bread, all the bread they need, say before Sukkot, and they can put it in the freezer.
That can be funny.
when I ask you, when a person goes to the bakery, they go to bakery to buy fresh bread. There is a minority of people that go to the bakery and stock their freezer up. That's not what people do. People buy bread fresh, however often they use that. That's what people do.
No, but I was thinking that people could buy as much bread.
Ask you, when a person goes into this store and he buys a loaf of bread, would you ask him, when are you planning to eat it?
No.
Why not? Besides that you're not nosy, but why not?
First of all, it'd be none of that.
Because he's eating it now. That's why he's buying it now.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think, it's reducing commercial activity on a Chol Hamoed if a person would buy everything they need before
It doesn't. It's just that's not the subject we're discussing right now. We're discussing the zilzul yontif of doing business for non-yontif purpose. That's the subject, and when we don't see it as a business that you're doing non-yontif business. You're doing yontif business, so that's permissible. So when I see people, I actually saw, in preparation, I saw something, one of the poskim, the temporary poskim, that bothered me very much. And I wasn't planning on speaking about it, but I disagree with the with this psak. I have to see it more in length. You're allowed to buy flowers on Yontif because they're perishable, right? So if I see you buying flowers, so what? Right. What about a plant?
Touching up the house.
Do I see that as a non-yontif? No, do you go to the flower store? They have those plants there. What are they for?
Long-term decorations versus short.
What do I buy that for? I buy that because they're going to your house and I know you like this and this kind of a plant, or I want to suffer and cause shalom bayis issues between you and your wife, so I buy you a plant like that. But I'm going to use it now. You don't buy a plant in the flower store to use it later.
Right. You use it now and later.
That's right.
Yeah, but okay, wait. Can you buy a picture frame on Yontif?
I think so.
Okay.
Wait a second. If you need it for Yontif, could the picture frame store be opened? That's saying the picture frame store. I buy pictures and picture frames in advance. I don't buy potted plants in advance. If I'm going to give you a potted plant, when am I giving it to you?
After you buy it.
Not before I buy it, yes. But immediately after, right? No, I don't buy it in advance. It's even though it's not a perishable item, but it's an immediate use item. No, that's how you buy it, right? So, but I saw that there's a bit of an issue on the poskim on this issue. I don't really understand what their issue. What are they thinking? And I'm not sure. It could well be that different poskim don't understand, or they don't live in the reality that we live in.
If your wife's buying the plant to go to the marpeset or something like that, make the house.
One second. And when is she going to use it? Now.
All year round.
Yeah, we're starting right now, right? Immediately, right? So now the question is: are you allowed to buy something that you're using it on Yontif and afterwards? The answer is yes. The question is: can the store sell it? When I see the store selling it, do I see that this is an immediate use item or not? That's the question.
No. I think when you see a good person buying about a plant, it's like a forever type item. Even though he's gonna even though he's going to use it now,
that's true.
You don't see like he's buying something for immediate use. He figured out how he's going to decorate his house. Now he finally made his decision how he's going to do it. But you don't see an immediate use when he buys a plant.
Why not? You do see that. You're just saying since the majority of the use is going to be afterwards.
Yeah, you see like a.
But that's not what I asked you one question and you answered a different question.
I don't think you see. I think when you see a person buying a plant, you don't see like he bought a plant to now put in his living room to use now.
You don't think so?
More like a.
When are you going to use the plant?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there's plenty of non-perishable goods that people buy that tzorach Yom Tov.
No, I understand. No. But when the question is when the seller sells it, a person seeing that transaction, if he had a bet, when is it going to be used? I go into a houseware store and I see a guy buy a clock. When is it going to be used?
Immediately.
No, now. He figured out that his wall could.
I need a clock.
You don't buy a big, huge clock just randomly whenever I get a chance.
You do so. You do. You do.
What?
You do. No, it's a housewares thing. Things that store. You see a clock that you like. Oh, you buy it.
Even though you have no idea where you're going to put it.
You have. When the clock breaks, I'm going to give it to somebody as a present. There are things that people buy, to use a word that's a very American word, to have. Right? They're buying it, but it's not. It doesn't hinge it doesn't hinge itself on being used immediately, right? So there's some things which demand being used immediately, such as perishable items, and the other things which the derech is to use it immediately. I think that should be enough to be matir it. Just because, in other words, I don't buy a plant because I'm going to somebody in 2 weeks' time. When do I buy a plant for somebody? Whatever's called immediately before, right? And if I'm going to buy a plant for myself, I'm going to use it now. I don't buy it and put it on my shelf. I buy it and use it. Whereas, if I know I'm going to your house and want to buy you something for Shabbos into your house, and I buy you a crystal vase, I'll buy it through a month in advance. I won't buy you flowers in advance. I won't buy you a plant in advance. You just don't do that.
I don't want to water it for you.
It's irrelevant why. You don't. Now that you don't want to repackage it, right? Be more practical. The water. What?
It's how the seller. If a person he puts plants in there, he's doing it. Buy it for Yom Tov. He puts a clock up there in the hardware store. He's not saying he's buying it for.
No, I understand. That's a question. Over here, the reason why it has to be done b'tzina is because it's not apparent. It's for Yom Tov use. So we understand fresh flowers are obviously for Yom Tov use. What about potted plants? I contend that it's valid for immediate use. That's all. Now, in other words, I don't know if there's really a machlekes on this issue or a perception issue. That since it could last a long time, people will buy it in advance. I don't know. To me, it seems that should be mutter to buy, to have your potted plants open. All right?
What would be the in Rav if Rav said to buy something for immediate use?
For
immediate use.
Immediate use, yeah.
So let's suppose, what happens if there's a
for tzarech yontif?
No, yeah, if there's a viable alternative. I'll give a scenario that could happen. Someone's car breaks down Erev Yontif, and this means he won't be able to make the all-essential Chol Hamoed trip without his car. So he goes.
Excuse me. What simon is that in found in?
So he buys a new car on Chol Hamoed, and he's going to be using it immediately, isn't it? When a person buys a car, you don't buy it to put it in storage. You buy it to use immediately.
Okay.
So would that be mutter?
100%.
But the alternative would be he could just rent a car for Chol Hamoed if he needed it for the trip, or go to take a taxi.
1 second. You again. We've gone over 3 different subjects in one sentence. Okay, there's a question. Let's start with something simpler. Somebody's car breaks on Chol Hamoed. Can you fix it on Chol Hamoed? So the answer to the question, it depends on the person and what he needs it for. But if he needs it Chol Hamoed, he's allowed to fix it. Now, similarly, if you need a Chol Hamoed, you're allowed to buy a car. Now, what's called you need a Chol Hamoed? Then we have to answer that question. The subject we're discussing is how does the appearance of the place of the transaction have to look, with the door open or closed. We're not right now discussing whether you're allowed to buy it or not. We're discussing something you're allowed to buy.
So based on this,
No, somebody get asked this question every Chol Hamoed. I ran out of shirts, what to do? I say, buy a new one. That's the halacha. Better buy a new one than wash it. Okay? Now, 40 years ago, they would have never said that. You only bought a shirt, right, when you needed one, right? No, the people didn't have, that was a non-option, right? Buy another shirt. You don't even know. If I ask anybody here, how many shirts do you own? Anybody here has any idea? You don't know. So just buy another one. Now the problem is, the place that's selling the shirts, is he allowed to keep his store open? The answer is no. Why?
But the place for the cars is allowed to be open, the Rav said.
the
What?
mechanic then, according to what the Rav said, should be open because he's fixing everyone's cars to use now.
Perhaps. You know, if they no. So, but this is the question over here is what is it? Now I will just tell you, people, you obviously don't buy new cars because when you go shopping for a car, how long does it take to get the car? Next Chol Hamoed. Okay. no, the thing, you know, this is. I mean, whatever. It's not a usual. If you're going to a used car lot, and you're buying a car which is a steel tarte mashma, okay. So in that situation, it's called the Yerida. You have a special situation. They have to know what's going on. But a car dealership, you don't get it on Chol Hamoed. It just doesn't happen. Doesn't happen.
Clearly, if you could pay the money and drive out in the car, then it could be.
It could be. But that's not the way. That's exactly a good example. The other way around.
Where you need it, but it's.
That's like you're going to your tailor to pick out a piece of fabric. Right? When is it going to be ready? In 2 weeks.
Right, so there's no heads for something like that.
For that store to be open. Even though, at least in the normal way, even though you paid your tailor that he should work overtime and have it done for you on Yontif because you have nothing to wear, you're walking around with a barrel. It's fine. You're allowed to do that. But the store, when I see it open, I see a guy who's opening a store that's not for Yontif. Okay, that's the concept that we're discussing. Okay, anyways. Things which people buy not for immediate use. The stores are allowed to be opened betzina if you're selling it l'tzarech hamoed. Ketzad? No, I just like to say I'm not really sure. There's a question in Hilchos Lifnei Iver which I have great issues with. There's a sefer called Yisa Yosef, written by Rabbi Yosef Efrati, who has a fascinating piece from Rabbi Yashiv on this. If I'm not mistaken, it's in Chelik Beis. Now, right now, mudslinging. Okay? There's an answer to this question, perhaps. I own a falafel store. May that falafel store be opened on Shavuos or B'Tammuz? What? Right? No, it depends if you put tchina in or not. Is that what it depends on?
No, it's not the kind of thing. The heter to eat then is if it's a person who's not well, right? Falafel is not the kind of thing
the person is a taxi driver, a diabetic. What do you want from him? You have no heart. Where's your dalek havschus? Right? So, it's a question. How could you have the store be opened on Shavuos or B'Tammuz? Rabbi Yashiv has a long piece to answer this question. But I have a better question. How am I allowed to have it open on a regular day? That taxi driver that stops off, that's not wearing a yarmulke, is he going to make a bracha? And even my call it. So these are all questions which have been around for a long time, and there's many complicated ways to deal with these issues. All right? But a person who has a store, a clothing store, and he has it opened, betzina, as we're about to learn, should he be asking the people, why are you here? I'm not joking.
You have to come with a slip.
No, people.
Such and such rabbi.
No. You misunderstood something.
Okay.
You people have been listening to me for too long. You already know that you're not allowed to buy things on Chol Hamoed. If you walk out of this shul and you ask somebody, is there any reason you can't go to the mall and go shopping on Chol Hamoed? What will they say? Why not? Right? What will happen? And people think that the reason why their stores are closed is because the proprietors are from a Yidden and they want to be off on Chol Hamoed. It is not known to the general public. You agree with this? People aren't aware that you're not supposed to be buying things on Chol Hamoed. I feel that's the vast majority of people are unaware, uneducated.
This would be a problem, Kutsara, right? This is my past here. If you go to Home Depot in Gustavus, it's they're going, the guy's selling it, there's no problem with it.
100%. But that's if you're going to Home Depot, right? But if you're going to the Jewish supermarket, or you're going to the Jewish hat store, then it is Nagea. So it's true. It's true. There's no issur for goyim to be open on Chol Hamoed. We have one cooler here today. What?
Just adjustment to being there.
I'm saying, but the truth of the matter is, it's from the most beautiful questions I was asked as a rabbi in Eretz Yisrael was as follows. This fellow who asked me the question is a mitchazek, and his wife is a mitchazek, and they come from wealthy families. And the grandparents come for Yontif, and the grandmother and the granddaughters have very little common ground. In other words, there's little in the grandmother's life that the grandchildren will understand, and little in the grandchildren's life that the grandmother will understand. And the grandmother desperately wants to make a connection with her grandchildren. So what do? The two most important things: you take them out to eat and you buy them clothing, right? What else is there in this purpose in this world? Is there another purpose in this world? So it was Pesach, and the grandmother was coming, and the father says to me, "We bought for our daughters enough clothing. They don't need any clothing." I didn't ask his wife if that's true. I didn't ask his daughters if it's true. So the husband was the one who asked me the question. And my mother is coming, and she's going to want to take my daughter shopping. May I allow? You like the question?
Yeah.
What should the answer be?
How about kibbutz? That's what his
What is kibbutz of aim?
That's what his mother wants him to do. That's a pleasure.
The mother wants him to do. Kibbutz of aim technically means to serve your parent. Are you serving your parent?
You're giving them pleasure.
I said one thing, and you said something else. It's not called a conversation. It doesn't fit into the category of kibbutz aim. There's an aspect of kibbutz av aim, and who has the mitzvah of kibbutz av aim? The son.
Right.
What about the granddaughters?
But there's no Chol Hamoed of the bonding.
Possibly there is, but that's not the shopping.
Yeah, but I'm saying the shopping.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
My trip. Right?
What?
My trip. You're getting a car. You're lighting the engine, whatever it is. But
So we discussed that originally. Those are called malachas shihui, that they're not called the malacha that's problematic. But
here, all the things that's going on is just a way of bonding. The actual shopping is just.
I'm not going to get involved in this. Just tell you with your approach to life, shopping is a pleasure. Shopping is mischa. There's nothing more, there's nothing more exciting in the world than going shopping. Ask your wife, you ask your daughters, they'll tell you, right? What does it have to do with mischar? For some reason, Chazal didn't see it like that. I don't understand. It must have been men, right? Right? No, there's an answer that at the end of the day, that's the. All right. Well, maybe discuss that question again a different time. Okay.